What's up, maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are bringing you another video for our Black History Month. I told you we're going to keep on bringing you videos every week of Black History Month to just kind of tune up your knowledge, and it helps with my knowledge as well on black wrestling and everything black wrestling, past, present, and future. And today, guys, I got a guest that I wanted to speak to for a very long time. At least for the last 5 to 6 years, I've wanted to speak to this guy, and we had such a great conversation. His name is Skillit. You guys may know him as a rapper. You guys may know him as a podcaster. You might know him as an actor. He's a man of many talents. I've listened to Skillit for a very long time on the Gorilla Position podcast, a British podcast that supports WWE very closely. I then spun off and started listening to him as well on his own podcast, the Kickout podcast. He is a man that knows his stuff when it comes to wrestling, and definitely knows his stuff when it comes to black wrestling. So I was very, very honored to get Skillit right here on the show, and we talked everything from black wrestling history in terms of moments. We spoke about some of the first black champions, black iconic moments, black celebrities that have appeared majority in WWE. And then we talked about, the future of what black wrestling can and should look like. Guys, it was a terrific conversation, and I won't speak any more on it. I want you guys to go and watch this show. But before you do, guys, make sure you smash the like button, because this is one you're gonna love. So you need to smash that like button. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is myself and Skillit talking about some of the biggest moments in black wrestling. Alright, what's up, maniacs? So as part of the Black History Month specials that I'm bringing you guys, I've got another guest on, and this is someone I've been wanting to speak to for a very long time, just on wrestling in general. This is Skillit, guys. He is a member of Gorilla Position podcast, Kickout podcast. He's a rapper, an actor, and to be fair, he's the man that got me kind of hooked back into wrestling once I started watching again 2014, 2015 times. Him and the rest of the guys on the Gorilla Position podcast, James D'Lo as well. I was listening to TalkSport. I found Gorilla Position from there. I found Skillit and the other guys on the show from there, and that was me fully indoctrinated back into wrestling. So, Skillit, it's great to have you here. How you been doing? Yeah.
Especially with Black Lives and social equality. I just felt it was more important things to focus on. And then obviously wrestling's definitely been affected with COVID because there's no crowd interaction. I didn't realize I needed that crowd reaction.
It is important.
It's important, bro. So and I feel like I kind of zoned out from watching it. I didn't think the product was that good. But I have to admit, since SummerSlam, I've not fully committed. I've been slowly watching wrestling again. So I think I'm back. So the things I did during my time off from podcasting, I did Wrestle Talks, Quizlemania, and I
watched that. That was really good.
Did you watch
I thought you were going to do better than you did. I'm not even going to lie.
Was trash, bro. I'm going to get back to that in a minute. And I did, what other appearances? And I did Wrestle Things, the DJ Clash.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So I've done some fun things, and this is going to be another fun one with you, my man, WrestleMania. But the Quizlemania, bro, when you're on something, like you're on the hot seat, and for some reason, your brain just freezes. I think I understand what people must feel like when they're on, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? There's no way you're going to go on those shows if you ain't got knowledge. You get what I'm saying? I'm thinking all those guys is going to know they've got these knowledge things. But when they're on the hot seat, for some reason, it's like,
the pressure. I know.
No, I'm actually, to a certain degree, I was doing all right until the Chad Gable question came up. And that's when I was trash.
That was the one you had to guess. You had to guess. Oh, was it draw?
No, I had to guess the Chad Gable one.
Yeah.
Drawing one, my partner for some reason guessed my drawing because my drawing is trash. I can't draw for shit. But for some reason, he got what I was drawing. So I did all right there. But yeah, it was the one where you had to guess who am I, and that the fact that Jason Jordan was in my head, but I kept saying to myself, it can't be Jason Jordan because he's injured. But how did I not think of Chad? I don't know. But yeah,
I genuinely thought when you were on the show that okay, this will be pretty good because Skillit will give them a run for their money.
Yeah, so then Luke always like, yeah, I'm so excited to Skillit because he's gonna give me a run for money. But then so I was so trash. Luke always asked me, "Oh, do you want to come back on next week?" And I was like, "You know what, bro? Let me
revise.
let me get back to you. I haven't got back to you. So I need to give him a shout and ask him if he's free anytime soon." So
amazing. Shout out Wrestle Talk. Shout out Rest Things as well. I do a lot of work with the Rest Things boys. So
yeah. I see you were on the episode the other day recently.
Yeah. I've been on 2 of their podcasts. They've been on my channel as well. Everyone's just working and making this content for everyone. So it's just great to just be able to talk wrestling with other people. Like I said to you earlier. Absolutely. So yeah, today what we are going to do, guys, is we are going to talk about moments for black wrestlers. Just in history in general. So some of the greatest moments that we've seen or some of the kind of most iconic moments. So I'm going to leave the floor to Skillit. What would you kind of class as one of the first big moments that you realized? I think especially being a black person, what was maybe iconic or legendary in your sense in wrestling?
You have to understand where, in terms of my fandom of wrestling started. So the first ever wrestling match I've ever seen that got me into wrestling was Hogan Rory. And that would have been like 1990. Is that right? WrestleMania 6. Was that 1990?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is I didn't even have Sky then. So I had no access to wrestling then. So that was at my cousin's house. So shout out to my cousins Kevin and Keegan. And them, you have those family members here, or even maybe not be family members, it could be friends who just have the most exclusive shit for some reason.
All the channels.
They had all the channels. They had the sickest video games. I used to come over and then I was playing Mortal Kombat. I was like, what is this? Like, man getting his head ripped off, and I'm like, I was like in awe of my cousins because they were much older than I was. And they were football. They got me into football, got me into wrestling, got me into video gaming. Like they just had everything. And I remember one time, I used to my mom would just take us over here and there. And then I had at the time was 4 of us in terms of brothers because there's 5 of us all together. So I've got 4 brothers. So at the time there was 4 of us, and we all went to take a trip to Kevin and Keegan's. And literally, I don't remember the rest of the pay. I don't remember any of a match in that pay-per-view. At the time, all I saw was Hogan and Warrior, and I'm seeing Warrior especially this superhero life. It's right. I must have been 5, I think, at the time, and I was like, "What is this?" And then from there, my cousins would let us their videotapes. They had bootleg tapes, and they'll send us all the WrestleManias. And so I kind of was educating myself on Ric Flair, and that was the thing, driving force behind it. And then at that time, around that, when it turned to 1993, WCW used to come on Channel 3. So that helped me get into WCW. And then from there, the knowledge of getting Mexican tapes, or it's called tape trading. So and get Japan, Mexico. And so all my knowledge was all building up. But even all that knowledge, there wasn't really much black moments. The first iconic black moment that I saw take place when I was a child was Ron Simmons winning the WCW title. And that was shocking to me because I didn't think nobody was beating Vader then. So when Ron Simmons beat him, it's mad actually. I remember sharing that couple, maybe 2000, this is before Vader died. And I shared that on the Kickout podcast Twitter, and Vader retweeted it. And then messaged me and said, "This is one of my favorite moments I ever was a part of in wrestling." Amazing. So he was proud of that. You know what I mean? And it's always good to hear these stories where wrestlers are proud of, being part of history, and they're proud of, giving a title to a rewarding black man. That was the first. I think that was the first memorable experience of seeing a black person win something major in wrestling.
I'm guessing at that age, do you kind of know what that means? You just see it at face value, or it's just...
I know, I think you do as a black person in general. How old are you, my friend? You're young.
Myself, 29.
You're 29. Okay, so you're not that young. Well, you're young. But I know for a fact when you were you probably didn't even realize it, but as a 5 or 6 year old, something impactful would have happened when you saw that might have benefited black people. And for you, even as a 6 year old, you would know this is good, this is big. And you probably even realize why you know that, but it's because I think black people, we suffer racism from a very young age, and we're aware of it. Even if you're not aware of it, you're aware of it. You know what I mean? It's a feeling. So yeah, I think at that time, and obviously you have to remember, I'm from a household of brothers, woke brothers as well. I've got brothers like, pro-black, so that's where I get my pro-blackness from. And they would make it apparent that I knew this was a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's important then. Yeah, definitely.
But that was the first thing, and then like you start when you get the knowledge, you gain the knowledge like I did as a young man. You realize, oh, what other black wrestling moments was there? And then I think for a little while, WWE was showcased the Rocky Johnson, Tony Atlas win back in the 70s when they beat the Head Shrinkers. No, I think it was 80s when they beat the Head Shrinkers for the tag team titles. That was me. I want to give a shout out to Bobo Brazil, the first ever African American world champion in wrestling. It was never recognized in NWA, but he did beat Buddy Rogers, but they stripped the belt off him because they said that Buddy Rogers was faking an injury or something. I don't know, something in the storyline. I know, it was something else. So he wasn't recognized as a African American champion, but really and truly he was. But obviously Ron Simmons will be recognized as the first ever African American champion. That was speaking, and that'll be in 1993. So Bobby Brazil would have won that title back in the 60s. This is a bit weird, but I also want to give a shout out to like Coco Beware, because a lot of people talk smack about Coco Beware, but they don't understand why he's actually a Hall of Famer. So they didn't see the man that dancing and prancing around in the WWE, and they're thinking, how is this man a Hall of Famer? But they don't understand that man broke down boundaries for lots of African Americans in Memphis. Huge star. One of the biggest Memphis matches ever in history was him against Ric Flair, where he went 60 minutes with Ric Flair, nearly beat him for the title. Obviously Ric Flair won, but that's when Ric Flair was doing that crazy tour when he was the champion going everywhere. But you know what I mean, like things like that. Big up Carlos Colon, controversial one, but big him up for what he done in Puerto Rico. One of the first ever black wrestling CEOs, owners, you know what I mean? He ran a territory in Puerto Rico, and still build up so many legends from that company. Big up Ernie Ladd, during really down south racist America, he was not afraid to be pro-black and speak out. Promos were amazing. So I'm just gonna do a little honorable mention at the moment of like.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, big up Booker T.
Come on.
Booker T, man. That's one of my, like, you have to understand as a kid, like watching WCW as a child, like having that alternative from WWE was so important for me, because you see the WWE, and obviously I was a massive WWE fan, but I was also a massive WCW fan. And you had like, if you didn't have certain black talent doing their thing in WWE, you had WCW to go to. And you had like Harlem Heat. Harlem Heat. For me, was like one of the best things I could ever see as a child. Like the way they would just come out to the ring, the way they would dress, the fire, them do-rags, the fire attire, and just talking smack to the camera. And they'll walk straight to the camera.
Dead eye,
and they were like, you just still believe that these men will probably murder anyone in that company.
Yeah.
You probably would in real life as well. They were just badass. People don't like. I know Booker T gets his respect, but at the same time, I don't think he does. And you would have heard me in GP argue with James and Matt and Ash about how dope Booker T is.
Yeah,
they don't.
Hundreds.
They don't understand, man. Like, because I don't think they saw it. They didn't see Booker T's best years. They didn't.
Yeah. I guess by the time he was kind of given his opportunity as world champion in WCW, he probably should have got it before he did. 100%.
And I wish he left before he did.
Yes.
I really wish he did what Jericho did and jumped ship around 99. Because I feel like he wouldn't be seen as a bit of a laughing stock like how he is today. And I don't think he is fully seen as that, because I know there's a lot of respect. But like Booker T's matches, bro, when he was a TV champion, WCW, bro, outrageous. What he did, that he carried Harlem Heat in terms of the in-ring. The man used to do the Harlem hangover with the flip, I know it's controversial to mention this, but if you can, anyone listening to this podcast, just find Booker T versus Chris Benoit, best of 7 series. It's legendary. It's what made Booker T, and arguably what made Benoit a star too. Benoit already had his name ringing everywhere, but those matches, it's what had main event people looking at them like, these guys are main events. It helped both of their careers, and that's why they tried to copy those matches in WWE. I remember there was a time they tried to do like a best of 7 with Booker T and Cena, and then Rowan came in because Booker T got injured. It was trash. And then they done the best of 7 series for Sheamus and Cesaro. That all stems from the Booker T Benoit Classics in WCW. Like, if you got the network, try and find those matches. They'll be on Nitro. They'll be on pay-per-views. I think it was like 1998 time, I believe. But it's classic stuff. Who else did I let me shout out to? Oh, and obviously Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, becoming the world heavyweight champion. Shout outs to Mark Henry. Those are big moments in Black history, and obviously New Jack as well. I want to give shout out to New Jack. New Jack is a very controversial one because he's a mess of a man, and I don't condone any of the things. But in terms of actually bringing like hardcore hip hop into wrestling, one of the first ones to do it. Like if it wasn't him, there'll be no Homicide from Ring of Honor. There'll be none of these wrestlers. And how he did the backyard style wrestling into pro wrestling. Obviously, he's a mess, but when he was in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, New Jack was something special.
He done his thing, yeah, he definitely. I mean, I just want to go back a bit, to be honest, and talk about where we talked about a bit of the racism that was in wrestling, and obviously we talked about the rise of Booker T. And I can't help but not ask you about, what you thought of that Triple H Booker T storyline, where it looked like all roads were actually leading to Booker T winning the world title, until we got a WrestleMania match that didn't deliver that, a pedigree that was followed by a pin 20 minutes later. What's your thoughts on that?
So here's the funny thing. So my brother, shout out to my brother K-Knight, Andres, dope, talented producer, rapper. Check his out, K-Knight13. I'll send you some of his stuff. I think you'll like his stuff. Me and him, man, we were I remained a wrestling guy, but me and him together growing up, we were the wrestling guys. Like we watched everything together. Japan, Mexico, WWE, WCW, we watched it all. You won't believe. He started falling off after the Attitude Era. He was falling off a bit, but there was still things hooking him in. For an instance, like he stopped watching it when it was 2002, 2003, but he made sure we watched WrestleMania together when Chris Benoit won the title, because we were Benoit guys. You know what I mean? We were Benoit guys from Japan. So, but one of the main reasons why he stopped watching wrestling was the Triple H storyline, and a lot of people, and Booker T disappoints me because he kind of sticks up for a lot of the nonsense WWE writes, and especially that, like, if I was Booker T, the reason why I'll be upset about what happened was, it doesn't matter if it was a storyline and going to WrestleMania and Booker T wasn't supposed to win it. That's one thing I could accept, right? But the fact that you use racism in the storyline, you have Triple H saying all these racist things about your nappy hair, or your only thing good for is dancing, or like proper saying things how a lot of the white people
out there, 100%.
Ric Flair strutting and laughing in Booker T's face, and of course there's parts where they show Booker T looking strong. Booker T, that time when Booker T beat up Triple H in the or whatever. I get all that, but once you go down that route, the only result you have to do make Booker T win, because once you didn't make him win, it was done after that, man. Like,
it's like you proved everything that you were saying was correct. Almost.
Exactly. And it's like, what is that? And the fact that he hit the man with a pedigree and pinned him like 2 minutes afterwards with a poor pin as well. Not even
one hand on him.
Hand on him. It was disrespectful. But I do believe, I don't care what Triple H says. He might not have said nothing about the match or nothing. But the reason why I feel Triple H pushes a lot of black talent today, because I think he regrets that match.
Stuff like that.
I think he regrets it.
Maybe.
He won't ever say that. I don't think he will ever say that. But he's very behind the force of a lot of black employment in WWE. And I think it's because he looks at some of these things that he's done as champion. And I think that's just him solely with NXT as well. I think when he was champion, he was doing all that mad run in 2003. Like this burying people, RVD, Scott Steiner.
I can't lie. I loved that. I love the run. I didn't like at that time. I guess I was about 12 or 13. I didn't obviously know, what's going on in the background. I kind of took it just for face value and just looked at, oh my God, Triple H, Evolution, Ric Flair. They're just running through everybody, and I absolutely loved it. Now, as I'm older, I understand the business a bit more. I
The
can
reason
see how
why I didn't,
unproductive that was.
yeah, the reason why I didn't like it was Triple H tried to be like how Flair was in the
Yeah,
80s.
very much. Yeah,
The differences between the two was, yes, Flair ran on and beat everybody, but he didn't look like a winner doing it. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Flair will beat Sting. He will beat Luger. He will beat Nikita Volkov. He will go off and beat Carlos Colon in Puerto Rico. He'll beat all these people. But the most important thing Flair would do was make them look like $1 million, bro. He will make them look like winners, and even eventually made them look like stars, which he did with Sting. The only thing Triple H did that made people put over was probably put over Orton, Batista.
Yeah.
People that were in Evolution.
Yeah. But I mean, that could come down to ability. Ric Flair is just, he was brilliant at what he did.
Something else. Yeah, Ric Flair was something else. Yeah, he was something else. But obviously, all right, he did the job for Benoit. But the fact that RVD didn't beat him that year, RVD
he was hot. It's true.
RVD had to wait for 2006 to win the W title, and RVD was like the hottest wrestler in 2001, 2002, 2001 to 2004. RVD was the hottest wrestler.
Yeah.
How are you not winning the title? Booker T having that strong push, eliminating The Rock in that Royal Rumble, that Battle Royal, and then not beating Triple H. Just madness. It's mad decisions. Like Scott Steiner, I can understand. So Scott Steiner wasn't the same. Kane, I understand him beating Kane. Kane's not really a draw back then. But yeah, I mean, I think RVD and Booker should have definitely beat Triple H there.
But like you said, I think it's, he has kind of noticed the wrongs and the booking issues around that, and especially with NXT, that's the live example right now. He is doing a lot of right in that sense, in terms of how 100%. The show's around and people that get opportunities, and that the opportunities are spread diversity wise. They're kind of spread as well. So I think that's really, really important. If we just talk about celebrities, obviously we've had a fair share of black celebrities. What's like so I know Mr. T was the first WrestleMania. Yeah. We've had Tyson in the Attitude Era. WCW had Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
the list goes on. Yeah. What's your memory of black celebrities in wrestling?
The first black wrestler, he wasn't a wrestler, but the first black person to main event WrestleMania, LT versus Bam Bam Bigelow, 1995. I remember that vividly. To be honest with you, I was not an NFL fan, so I didn't know who the hell LT was. But I remember vividly when Bigelow pushed LT's face. I believe it might have been a Royal Rumble. It might be Royal Rumble 95, when Sean won. I can't remember when it was. But Bigelow pushed LT's face in the crowd. It might not have been Royal. It might have been Royal Rumble. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was. I think it probably was Royal Rumble, because it wouldn't have been any pay-per-view up to that, unless it might have been a Monday Night Raw. But then the fact that LT and Bigelow main evented that was a poor WrestleMania, but I was shocked by that. And LT did a good job. He did a good job, man, against Bigelow. It was actually quite entertaining. But that was good. That was a fun one. Any other black celebrities? Most of the other black celebrities will probably would have been made cameo appearances, like Buster did a cameo appearance.
Rodman had a pretty prominent role in NWO.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Because you mentioned him, I didn't mention. But yeah, you're talking about Rodman. Yeah, Rodman's run when he was a tag team with Hogan against Karl Malone and DDP. I remember that vividly. I remember all the Rodman stuff vividly. Like I was so surprised Rodman could actually hang in there. But he's athletic. He's a basketball player.
Yeah. And to be fair, maybe at that time I might be discrediting wrestlers then, but at that time, these basketball players that athletes, they train like that, they're probably in a better condition than some wrestlers at that time.
With the main event talent, I would say yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not with mid-card talent. So he couldn't do that in the ring with Owen
Oh, of course not. Nah.
But or Bret, Bret Hart. But yeah, with like the Hogan stuff like that. Oh yeah. But yeah, Tyson was probably the biggest. I think Tyson's probably the biggest celebrity moment, period, regardless of race. I don't think wrestling's ever had a bigger moment than the Tyson Austin moment. And I remember that vividly.
That was what, 97?
98. It was 98.
98.
Just before the Mania 13. 14, sorry, just before Mania 14. And I remember at the time, because internet wasn't really as a kid, as a young boy at that time, internet wasn't popular like that. And I remember a kid I used to go to school with named Elvis. He was a black guy. He's called Elvis. Yeah. I remember Elvis, because this was so mad, yeah. When I was a child, Raw and Nitro wasn't on Mondays. They were on
Fridays.
Yeah, in the UK.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, they could afford to do that and not worry about spoilers because there was no internet then. So they'll have the Monday Night Raw, and WCW Monday Nitro, and then put that on the Friday. And us UK fans would be none the wiser.
You just have to wait, yeah.
And hey, brother, I wish, man. Like, I don't know if were you into WCW as a kid?
Yeah. It used to come on Cartoon Network like after hours or something.
So you experienced the channel flicking?
Yeah.
Like the kids today won't understand, man. Like the fact that I used to watch Raw and then flick through to watch Nitro, see what's going on, was the best experience as a wrestling fan. And I just remember Elvis saying to me, "Oh, you know, Tyson and Austin had a fight on Raw." And I was like, "Huh? What do you mean?" Yeah, Tyson and Austin had a fight on Raw. I was like, "But Raw even started yet."
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's on Monday. And he was like, "Yeah, but it's on Mondays, isn't it?" And I was like,
"Bro, it started, yeah."
This must have been on a Wednesday, French class, Wednesday. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, because it is on Monday, because it's Monday Night Raw." But how would you know that? He was like, "Yeah, it's on the internet." And he man pull out some printed out paper of what the freaking news,
screenshots and that.
Of this fight. I'm like, what? So he kind of spoiled the whole thing for me. Back then, wrestling wasn't spoiled for me, so I used to watch it. So I saw that was coming, but obviously there was some exaggeration with his story. He said that somebody got stabbed or whatever. But yeah, that moment, that's iconic, man. Like Austin, Tyson, the promo, everything. How Vince McMahon, and that, watch that back. Vince McMahon was brilliant.
Vince McMahon is the greatest heel in wrestling. 100%. I don't care what anybody says.
100%. 100%.
Greatest.
100%. But when he was trying to attack Austin, you ruined it. You ruined it. Man. He's going for the swing, like it was
mate. Tyson was my dad's guy. Obviously, boxing in a boxing ring. Like, my dad told me about Tyson from early. Like, so when Tyson now pulled up on this thing that I watch, it's like I knew who this guy was, and I absolutely lost my mind. Like, what's he doing here? Like, it was crazy. Like, absolutely crazy. He probably was the biggest celebrity name to come in.
I think so. I don't think anything's celebrity.
You don't think anything is still to top that?
They can't. Like, that was lightning in a bottle, man. That was magic. Like
at that time as well. That
turned the tide for WWE. That was one of the main. I'm not saying the only factor, but that was definitely one of the major factors that people started watching WWE over those WWE, and they won the award.
Did you hear or catch in this past year when Tyson was on AEW?
Yeah, I saw that, and he had a little thing with Jericho, didn't he? And I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm not really feeling AEW, man. It's not really grabbing me, man. As a show, like, I know they got outstanding wrestlers, well, some well, the ones I can figure out who they are, or the ones and the ones that I know from like Japan or whatever.
Japan and stuff, yeah.
I feel like they hire a lot of, which is commendable, because they want to make their own stars. But they do hire a lot of like independent stars that I've never heard of before. Like
100, same.
I've never heard of these guys. Like, who are these guys? Which I give them credit for, because they want to build their own stars. But then it's like they have a little bit of a TNA thing for me, man. And they're bringing like you hire Rusev, who wasn't used to his best in WWE, and you don't use him to his best. You make him some sort of best man. Yeah, I've spoken on that, and to Rusev, be honest, I think he had to go in at the top. Bro, he should have interrupted a Kenny Omega match.
Yeah.
We want to see Rusev with like, we want to see a dream match with Rusev. So he should have come in, interrupted Kenny Omega match or Cody or someone and murk them and like, and don't mean like, not here to crack joke, serious things. I'm here to win. No, I want to win this AEW title. Like, what they like stuff like that.
I think I mean, I recently on my channel just done a 1 year review of AEW. I think they've had a good first year. Even some of the stars there, I mean, some of the black stars there, Scorpio Sky from SCU, he had like a mini push and now he's gone again. They've recently signed, I think someone else on the independents for quite a while, Will Hobbs. Big guy, they look like they're invested in him a bit because they've put him in a prominent position. But yeah, generally, you know, I think it's their first year. They've done well to, you know, even stay afloat, I guess. A lot of companies don't, especially in this pandemic. So it'll be telling if they can, you know, last the test of time. That's what it really is about when it comes to wrestling, you know. How long can they stick around for? But yeah, they're good. But yeah, even talking about AEW in the future, if we just get into like some of the stars today, obviously I think it was last year now we had Kofi Mania. This is now, I guess, the first real through and through black WWE champion that we've got. A lot of people argue, it was even on Twitter today, in fact. So let me ask you, do you class The Rock as the first ever WWE black champion?
Absolutely. The reason why is that's what he is.
Apparently, The Rock doesn't even class himself as the first black WWE champion. Apparently.
I think what The Rock was trying to say was he wouldn't class himself as the first African American champion.
Fair enough.
The Rock has come out and said he's half black, half Samoan. Yes, I do understand The Rock is more encultured with his Samoan side. He had a better relationship with his mother. So obviously he's going to endorse his Samoan side more. And that's fine. He has every right to do so. But you cannot shy away that he is a black man. And he is technically the first black WWE champion. First African-American champion, I'm going to say it's Kofi Kingston. I know that's a bit of a weird thing to say, but it's the truth. Yes, definitely. And I actually have that on my list. So remember, I told you I have a list. So there's 6 names I have in this list. Why? Even though it should be a top 5, you said. I have 6 names.
Go on.
First name, I'm going to give a shout out to from Black History. Too Cold Scorpio. I don't know if you ever heard of this wrestler before.
I have. I'm not familiar with his work, but I have heard of him.
Brother, let me tell you something. Yeah? Let me tell you something, my bro. There will be no Shelton Benjamin. There will be no, what's my man's name? Alex Skipper, WCW man. He used to be in TNA as well. He's the guy who made that walk on the steel cage into the Hurricanrana famous.
Who's that?
Alex Skipper. He was in Team Canada in WCW.
Okay, yeah. I see his picture in my head.
He was a bad boy. Trust me, check Alex Skipper out. He was a bad boy. But there'll be no him. There'll be no Shelton Benjamin. There'll be no Jay Lethal. There will be no all these athletic wrestlers you see today who are black. Too Cold Scorpio was the first Duddy. If you check ECW, early days ECW, check NGPW, check WCW, bro. Too Cold Scorpio, late 80s to about mid 90s. That man, he was in WWE as well, but they changed his name to Flash Funk. But watch those. Let's sit down and watch those that man matches, because that man done stuff that you still don't see today. I'm not even joking, bro. Man used to do like them 450 splashes into a leg drop, bro. Into a leg drop, bro. I think he didn't originate the 450. Maybe not. I think Hayabusa might have originated 450. But he did the 450 splash into a leg drop. Man did the freaking Phoenix splash into a leg drop. Man used to do swanton ball into a leg drop, bro. He's mad, bro. Too Cold Scorpio. I had an interview with a New Day back in when we were in New Orleans. When was that? 2017. And we talked about black wrestlers. And me and Xavier Woods said, Too Cold Scorpio. We both agreed, the greatest of all time. Bro, Do
Wow.
not, after this thing is done,
I'll check him. I'll check him.
YouTube Too Cold Scorpio or go on the network and type in Too Cold Scorpio. Watch his matches. He was a man. So Too Cold Scorpio, very important to Black history for me in wrestling. Another one, Ahmed Johnson.
Yes.
Third Black Intercontinental Champion.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember that vividly as a child when he beat Goldust in King of the Ring '96. And Ahmed Johnson wasn't the best wrestler, and I even knew that as a kid. But but there was something about him, bro. Like I've never seen a man from that you can blatantly tell from end. Yeah, like he's good. Yeah. Like white people loved him, bro. Like I think if he didn't get injured by Farouk, and Farouk kicked him in the kidneys, I think Vince was gonna go all the way with him, bro. Because the way he was just winning matches, the game became the IC champion. I think Vince had plans to make him his first Black WWE.
They were building up, yeah.
Yeah, and then he got injured, and it went the same for him after that. But Ahmed Johnson, when he beat Goldust for the IC title, very entertaining match. Goldust kissed him in the ring.
I remember that, yeah.
Johnson jump over the, then he killed himself jumping over the turnbuckle. A very entertaining match. Yeah, so loads of energy. Ahmed Johnson, big him up. Ron Simmons, of course, has to be this. Ron Simmons, first African American wrestling champion. Period. WWE Invader, great match. Ron Simmons is a legend. Went on to become Farouk. APA, Hall of Famer. Made that word damn popular. Ron Simmons all day. Oh yeah, shout out to Teddy Long as well. Teddy Long is to manage Ron Simmons back in when he's the Butch Reed in Doom.
And Teddy Long was the first Black authority figure on TV in terms of the GM.
And yes, that's right. And the first manager, I would believe, was Slick. Remember Slick?
Yeah.
He was the first African American manager. So there you go. Bob Sapp. I don't know if you heard of Bob Sapp.
No, I haven't.
Bob Sapp is the first African American to win the IWGP title.
Okay. I didn't even know that.
The only one. Check out Bob Sapp. He used to be.
When was this? What year do you roughly?
2005.
Okay, so not even long ago.
Not that long ago. 4 or 5, if I remember right. I think it's 05. He beat Kenzo Sasaki, and he used to be a martial artist. He used to be a UFC fighter. He used to be an NFL player. He used to play for the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
And yeah, they loved him in Japan. He was just like a massive star. Big, beastly of a man. And he was like Brock Lesnar levels there.
I swear.
They just loved him because they loved him. He had a legendary fight. I can't remember the man's name. He had a legendary fight with another Japanese wrestler who's also a martial artist, and he's also a former IWGP champion as well. And them two used to have these legendary fights where they were like bare knuckle boxing, punching each other up, bleeding, everything. And he was just like, the fans loved Bob Sapp. They loved his energy. I think he even spoke Japanese, I think. And they just loved him. I think he lived out there, became the champion. So he's the first Black African-American IWGP champion for NJPW. And the only one, actually. So I should say.
Yeah.
I'll put The Rock in there. Now, The Rock transcended, man. Like, I remember vividly when The Rock first came as Rocky Maivia. And I was like, nah, this guy ain't hitting it, man.
So you remember Die Rocky Die?
Listen, let me tell you something, bro. I was there for the whole thing, bro. Yeah, the whole thing I was there. So I remember the vignettes, the videos of Rocky Maivia. Yeah. And then they used to promote the Chief Peter Maivia, Rocky Johnson, promote all of that. This is the son of the Rocky Johnson. This is the grandson of the great late Peter Maivia. And he came in Survivor Series '96. I remember this came vividly. And Rock was in a team with, I think he was with a team with Jake the Snake, Snooker, and there's someone else I'm missing out. Maybe Mark Merrow. I think it was Mark Merrow. I think Mark Merrow, I could be wrong, I'll double check this, but I think it was Mark Merrow, Jake the Snake, Jimmy Snooker, and Rocky Maivia against like Hunter Hearst, I believe Mankind? No, it wasn't Mankind, was it?
I can't remember. I don't know.
I can't remember, but anyway, it was when Rocky come out with the
Jericho.
I remember my brother saying, "Nah, this guy's dead." My brother said that straight, and he come on and he like beat people. His finishing maneuver at the time was like a shoulder break. I think he used to have a man on his shoulder, and he slammed their shoulder onto his knee.
Okay.
It was like an old school traditional move. It wasn't no rock.
Weren't a finisher.
And man had impressive drop kicks like his dad. And Vince was hyping him up. Oh my God. And then he was very cheesy. And then I vividly remember the ECW guys coming to Monday Night Raw. When I say the ECW guys, I mean the fans that were watching ECW. Like you could see the guys that used to sit in the front row of ECW came to the Monday Night Raws and they used to say, "Die, Rocky, die," and they used to boo him. Hunter Hearst Helmsley was getting cheered over him in matches. It was just like, ooh, okay. I think
this isn't working.
And he was gone for like a month or two, come back, join the Nation. That's when everyone fell in love with him. Like, his Nation run was incredible. He owned it. He was just being himself. He got that classic promo, the Die Rocky Die promo. He just changed it up, had funny segments. You know, his fallout with Farouk, took over them leading to them betraying Farouk, him coming up with catchphrases, him dressing those Versace suits. The loafers, the shades, him just really owning his freaking role, then becoming corporate rock. When he beat Foley for the title, I remember that. I was like, rah, and he joined corporate rock. I was cheering. I was like, he's a better heel. Him, that rise, like the rise that if you watch those matches back, if you watch the Rock 98 matches back, and you got the crowd cheering, like especially his match against Triple H in 98 in SummerSlam, you could hear organically the crowd is backing this man.
Backing him,
so entertaining, bro. There's no denying him. You couldn't deny him. And then obviously when he came corporate rock, he was another level. You know, had the feud with Austin, and which is probably still the best feud in wrestling.
The best feud, 100%.
And then The Rock, man. Now he has to be in there, man. Like
big legend.
That's he's part of Black history. And the number one moment in Black history for me, obviously, the moment I saw live last year, Kofi Mania. Like I even took the brother I was telling you about, K9, who didn't really watch wrestling anymore, but I brought him to WrestleMania with me to film because he's also a videographer. He was filming for us, filming our interviews. And we had that moment together, man. Like that's history.
Do you 100%? Do you obviously the fact that the initial story involved Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali obviously got injured, and then Kofi was kind of drafted in, and Kofi Mania picked up, months before WrestleMania was even in the picture. Do you acknowledge WWE's kind of ability to adjust on the fly, that they saw that and kind of captured it, or like should we have had this moment beforehand anyway, or
I mean, like the way they built it up from Elimination Chamber was special. Like stuff Kofi and Brian was doing in that match, their performance in that was arguably better than the one at Mania. Bro, you watch back that Elimination Chamber where Kofi nearly...
That's when Brian won it. Not won the title, but he won the chamber match.
He won the Elimination Chamber match, and Kofi nearly beat him for the title. I remember, like, I don't think in such a long time, I don't think I've ever been glued to the TV like that from wrestling, especially WWE, in such a long time. Like obviously, the moments like that, I've had those moments before. I think when Benoit won the title, I had those little butterflies in the stomach.
And
then like, I was watching this thinking, hold on, is Kofi actually going to win the title? And they had me, bro. Like the near falls, the fact that Kofi kicked out of so many moves Brian was doing, the knees and everything. I was like, my God, Kofi's going to win. And then when Brian won, I was like, yo, but I wasn't even upset. I was applauding the TV.
Because the story was good.
Now give it. And I was like, this is the beginning of the story, because there's no way they can do this and Kofi's not going to be trending on Twitter. I said, Kofi's going to be trending now. He's going to win this title. And that's exactly what happened. And it was an amazing, the match itself, the Kofi Bryan match, was the best match.
It was good,
It was amazing.
For me, I didn't even look at the whole Black thing until the minute Kofi won it. The story was gripping me, and especially because obviously going back to WrestleMania 30, this was Daniel Bryan, the guy that wasn't supposed to get it. It was the whole story retold, and now it's against Daniel Bryan. And Kofi realized that. There was even one promo where he said that, remember, this was you, sort of thing. And then the minute, you know, Kofi won, lifted that championship above his head, Xavier Woods in tears. You know, he went and got his sons.
Amazing.
I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I'm just like,
the bit when they removed the
got rid of the old title, yeah, and brought out the WWE Championship with Kofi, big letters in the side plates.
People around us were crying, bro. Like
bro, I said, they don't know what they done that day for black
they
people.
Yeah, they did. They smashed it. Like me, Ace, shout out to DJ Ace, my homegirl Tay, and my brother K-Nat. We were all just like hard. We cuddled each other, bro. When that belt, we just cuddled each other, and it's like it was such a great moment, man. Like I was just literally looking around, and I was seeing white people, Asian people, black people were crying, bro. Don't matter what race they were.
Yeah,
it was such a beautiful moment, man.
Yeah,
and I don't think that they won't get nothing like that in a while. They won't.
Yeah, the story told. Sorry, go on.
No, it's all right. And it's funny how Brian was freaking life-threatening injury, bro, and it kind of feels like he was supposed to do that. That he was back. He came back for that purpose, solely for that purpose. It felt like that to me.
Daniel Bryan is brilliant at what he does, and I think because of that story, you know, with him in WrestleMania 30, he was able to kind of help, you know, whether they're helping in creative or giving their own ideas, to help push that story, because he was the exact right person for Kofi to be facing in his build-up for it. Like, it was so well done.
You want to hear a story my brother said watching it? He goes, yeah, no, I get it. Like, I get the importance. Like, obviously, it's beautiful. I'm glad Kofi won. But, like, watching that match, I just wanted Brian to win. That's what he said. Brian was so good. Brian was so methodical. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that run with that title was brilliant for Brian.
Yeah, 100%. And K-Nat was just like, I think K-Nat was just in awe of what Brian was doing in that ring. But yeah, now what other match? Like,
no,
I think to be honest with you, that's probably why I'm not really bothered to even go back and watch wrestling live.
That's your pinnacle.
I think I've reached the pinnacle. I think I've seen everything I had to see, and I think I'm fine. But obviously, if they say to me, Ryan, we need you back next week, I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm content.
Mate, my missus, for instance, doesn't watch wrestling. You know, I tried to kind of get her in through the back door of watching Divas and stuff like that, Total Divas and all those reality TV shows. She watches, like, she likes Naomi, obviously, and stuff like that. But, you know, even she felt the Kofi moment. Like, how could you not? Like, it was... Like I said, it went over my head until I saw the New Day boys, Kofi and his sons, all in that ring with the championship, and that's when it hit me. Like, these guys do not know what they've done.
Brian Saxton did a great job of calling that match.
Yeah.
Great job. Brian Saxton was amazing.
So guys, that was our conversation. You know, we've went from the older days all the way through to probably the biggest moment in black wrestling history, which happened 1 year ago now. Go on, Skillit.
Jacqueline,
first ever women's,
the American Divas champion. Women's champion. She wasn't Divas back then.
Jacqueline was big as well.
Jacqueline,
like
Hall of Famer Jacqueline. You know who was also a great women wrestler for black women? Jazz. I don't know if you remember Jazz. She was sick in ECW. She had a decent run in WWE in 2002, but I wish she was used more because she was bad.
She just had an interview with Chris Van Vliet. I think it's going to be on his YouTube channel, and I think the title that I saw briefly, I'm yet to watch it, is I never had my own action figure, my own Mattel action figure.
Oh, man, that's a shame.
Which I can imagine if you wrestled along with people that did, you're gonna think that, come on, like, where's mine? So I'm gonna watch that. But I mean, is there, if I was to put you on a spot now and say, is there like maybe one more kind of big moment in black wrestling you want to see happen, what would you say it would be?
I'm loving what they're doing with Hurt Business. I think Hurt Business in WWE, apart from the Nation of Domination, which was a legendary black stable. I feel like the Hurt Business is a new, different black stable. So many black stables have they had? So Nation Domination, New Day, and Hurt Business.
Hurt Business, they're fully black.
Free black. I would like to see Cedric get a big push.
Are
Obviously,
we
Keith
talking
Lee, I
world
think,
title or what? When you say big
yeah,
push,
man. Cedric is a bad boy. He's one
I
of the
don't, I
best
don't,
wrestlers.
I agree. I just
He's
think for him
incredible.
to carry the big one, there may be
Nah, he can't
character
talk. He
work that we
can't talk.
haven't seen. I think he's
Yeah.
decent. I think he's decent, but
MVP as his manager
yes,
could work.
that's the way around it.
Shout out to my boy MVP. He's doing big things right now, coming back in the business. I'm happy for him. And Keith Lee, I think Keith Lee could be the next African
He's
American.
going to be. That's a matter of time. That's literally a matter of time.
He's sick, man. He's bad.
Yeah.
He's bad.
I was talking with A Dazzle from Black Wrestling Alliance the other day, and we were saying like, how hasn't Bobby Lashley won the big one?
They flopped with them, and I don't understand. His comeback should have been so much better.
Straight away, yeah. They should have put him straight into a program with Lesnar. Straight
yeah,
away.
That's it. That's what they should have done. Like, silly. And in regards of women, shout out to Alicia Fox, the best.
First Black Divas champion.
Yes, she is. And Sasha's doing bits.
Very much so.
Naomi's one of my favorite people. And a wrestler. She's an outstanding wrestler. So, you know, we got some black excellence. I know it's a shame about Ember Moon, man. I don't think she's going to come back, you know.
You say that. You said you told me before we came on here that we were watching NXT TakeOver. Say no more.
Is she in it?
Say no more.
All right, cool. Thank you. I'm gonna go back and watch it. I got to the Kushida Velveteen match, so all right, cool. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, I think we need you know, Naomi. She won the women's title, dropped it because of injury. She won it back at WrestleMania 34, I want to say, in Orlando, in her hometown, which was big. I think we are still, maybe if we get one big black female moment, that will probably be the icing on the cake. Yeah, definitely. And we've got a few stars there. Bianca Belair coming through the ranks.
Absolutely.
She's very
Montez
talented.
as well.
Montez Ford, he's going to be a star.
Yeah, I think he's a star.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's hopefully a lot to look forward to in the WWE landscape anyway. Skillit, I won't keep you any longer, bro. I thoroughly appreciate this. Like, you've given me, I don't know about anyone that's gonna watch this, but you've given me a schooling, given me a couple things that I need to go and watch and you know, kind of touch up my knowledge on. Thoroughly appreciate it. Where can the guys find you online?
My absolute pleasure for me to be on the show. Thank you for having me. And you can find me at Skillit World, SKILLIT World, or same as Instagram, at Skillit World. So you can find me there if you like anything I have to say today. And thank you for having me, man. It's been such a pleasure. We should do this more often, man.
No
Definitely.
problem.
And I have to get you guys, maybe get you on the next Kickout podcast as well.
Anytime, man. Like I said, you're one of the people that got me back into wrestling after a long period where I wasn't watching it, and it's just great again to see other you know, black faces, black boys as we are from London, just kind of enjoying this product and being able to kind of bounce off each other. And yeah, even for you that's making waves media wise, doing work for WWE and stuff, it's just brilliant to see. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man. What a learning and an education I received there, and I hope you guys did too. I thought it was a terrific natural conversation with Skillit, and you know, he shows so much knowledge. He's so much, I can listen to him talk and just teach me about all of this stuff from day one that's happened within our culture, within black wrestling. Guys, whatever you do, please make sure you are following Skillit on his platforms. Catch him on Instagram and Twitter, Skillit World. You know, it'll be linked below in the description. That is one guy you need to follow, and follow everything he's involved in as well. Gorilla Position, Kickout Podcast, a lot. Guys, I have more videos coming on everything black wrestling. They have already been done and put together. They are on the way every week on this channel, so you have to subscribe. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button, give us a like, and if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell, because there's a lot more coming on this channel. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.